Welcome to today's Zoom session. It is Monday, 3rd June, 2024. Someone just asked right before this recording where you can find all the other Zoom recordings, the archives of the Zoom recordings. I always upload it onto our YouTube channel called Cryptonaire Network. Now, today is a very important topic. It's a touching topic. And the reason it's a touching topic is because it has a lot to do with your personal life, as well as all the people around you and the direction that you're going to go in once you start establishing somewhat of a crypto fortune. And when you start establishing a very decent sized portfolio. Now, getting rich and staying rich are two completely different things. And there's a lot of chaos that will come with earning a significant amount of money, especially at the beginning. So right now I'm 30. I have been generally well off, I should say, ever since I was about 19. So I started very young. I'm blessed to have started very young. Between the age of 17 and 19, I was figuring things out and working like crazy. At 19, I started to run into some money, right? I started to make a decent sum of money. And no one warned me about the things that I'm about to warn you. And so because of that, what happened is I had a cycle where I'm making great money and I have this decent portfolio and everything comes crashing down. And then I would do it again. And then everything would come crashing down, and then I would do it again. And I would learn from mistakes on what I should and shouldn't say, how I should and shouldn't live, and who should have access to what kind of information about my financial status. And so this is the first thing that I want to discuss with you, because I have seen many stories, myself personally being one of them, as well as a lot of people that I'm surrounded with, is they make a lot of money. Maybe they display it too much, and now people look at them very differently. So the first thing that's very important with when you start making money is the less people that know, the better. And if nobody knows how much money you're making, that's even better. And the reason is very simple. Once people realize how much money you're making or how much money you have, their relationship with you will completely change. It's difficult to explain it to you unless you have that experience yourself, but I will tell you that the relationship will change. All of a sudden, their problems are now also your problems because you're doing significantly better than them. And so now you will begin to attract all the negative stuff that's going on in other people's lives because it's just a bit of money for you. And it's a quick fix for you, but it can completely help them out. So for example, people will start asking you for maybe their rent payments, maybe their mortgage payments. They'll start demanding things from you that they didn't demand before, and they'll start to see you in a different light. And it's something you don't want that energy around you. I have experienced people who at the very beginning stages, and now nobody knows how much money I make in any way, shape or form, but I've experienced people who were very close to me, unaware of how much money I'm making. Everything is going great. And then all of a sudden, I am treated completely differently. They would be more cautious about how they interact with me, about maybe not offending me. They would see me in a different light. And all of a sudden, their problems now become my problems. Oh, you have at least $1 million. Well, $8,000 means nothing to you. It can help me solve this and help me solve that. And then I can set myself up straight. So you don't want to have that kind of energy around you. And it will be the people that are closest to you. It's not because they're bad. Let me start off there. It's not because they, oh, I should have started off there. It's not because they're bad. It's just that they will find creative ways to spend your money. And the reason I'm telling you this now is because I believe when MintHub goes public, a lot of you are going to get very wealthy. A lot of you are going to run into money that you've maybe never seen in your life. There's the Cryptonaire Network system where the commissions are set up for you so you can earn a significant amount of commissions. And a lot of you are already making the kind of money that you never made before. And you have that kind of crypto balance that you've never had before. And so the first thing that people start to do is they start to spend a little bit more. Some people might want to stroke their ego and flash a little bit of money, show off their results, and it's going to attract all of the wrong attention. So I want you to be very clear on that. And this is the reason why the people I surround myself with are either on the same kind of income bracket as me or higher, because we can discuss the kind of money that we make, the kind of money that we wish to make, the products and services we wish to create. And it's a healthy discussion, and no one is out to get anyone. So the more quiet you are with your money, the better your life is going to be. And the louder you are with it, the lower the quality of your life. You're going to have so many problems. The proof of that is not just my personal experience. It's not just the personal experience of every single person that has run into money for the first time, that doesn't know the intricacies of it. But you can actually check based on lottery winners. Lottery winners, for the most part, have a very short period of time where they're ecstatic. They've got all this money all of a sudden. They can pay for all of their problems to go away, or 99% of their problems to go away, and they're ecstatic. But what happens afterwards is they are absolutely miserable. All of a sudden, the uncle that didn't visit them for 10 years is visiting them and saying, hey, I've got this problem, I've got that issue. And so what you want to do is you want to keep as quiet as possible. This is number one. As quiet as possible. If you can make sure that nobody knows the kind of money you're making, that's great. Because expenses will all of a sudden pile up, and now you're the bad guy if you don't fix other people's problems, or you're the bad guy if you don't do this, that, and the other for your significant other, or for your family, or for the close friends around you, or for the neighbors, whatever the case may be. And that envy is going to eat you up later. So make sure the fewer the people that know what kind of money you're making with Cryptonaire Network, with MintHub, with whatever, nobody gets to know how much money you're making, what your balance is, because it's none of their business. Your only job, your only role, and your only responsibility with the kind of money you're making is to take care of the people around you, not to tell them how much money you're making, because that information should be kept close to your chest. Does this make sense to you guys? Let me know if it does. And if you've had a bad experience where you've made some great money, and it could be with Cryptonaire Network now, and you've told other people, have you had bad experiences? Share your experiences when people all of a sudden know what kind of income you're making, and now their problem becomes your problem. One person, Freddie, of course, I'm not going to mention your second name, said yes in the past. He sent it directly to me. Lucy said this makes sense. Everybody, this makes sense to pretty much everyone here on the Zoom session right now. So the number one thing is privacy. Privacy is the most important thing. For me, my family doesn't know how much money I make, but I take care of things. Anyone around me, for the most part, they don't know what kind of money I make. I keep everything close to me. And that's because I know if I say, hey, I got this much money, I'm making this much, all of a sudden their problems will expand. So they will say, okay, I've got all these problems and Rahman can fix it for me. And it's not even going to cost him that much compared to how much he has. Now imagine a dozen people, 20 people, 50 people thinking the same thing and blowing up your messages with their problems. And so that lack of focus that you're going to have, just telling everyone your problem is your problem, is going to affect your income. You're going to be the bad guy if you don't fix it. And there's going to be a lot of peer pressure in you solving other people's stuff. So make sure privacy is important. Another thing that has destroyed people for the most part is the fact that when you have a certain level of money, you have more options. Now, it's great to have options. However, the more options you have, the more directions you can go and the more things you're able to do. And what happens then is, unless you know how you wish to live, it will destroy you. I'll give you an example right now. What am I talking about? For me, this wasn't me, but this was for a lot of young people that made a lot of income early on. What they would do is they would party, have fun, meet with a million different women, travel around the world into exotic destinations, and they would just go crazy. And so they had the choice where they were able to do that financially and physically, but all of that attention that they gave away being with this debauchery and hedonism, they could have put towards doubling down on their work and scaling up their businesses, but they didn't. And so at the beginning stage, they didn't have the choice to jump into hedonism, for example. And so they were busy focused on work and making money. And now they had that option, and now they got sucked into that option. Other people, for example, they start to have a finer taste of things. Oh, I should get this watch and that watch, and this looks nice, and I should go into this designer brands and do and purchase this. Oh, I need 5 cars. I need 10 cars because, you know, this is based on if I go here, and then this one is if I go shopping. And where did all of this come from? It came from the fact that they had options. So what you need to do, and I'll just reiterate now, the 2 things that destroy people that make money for the first time is opening their mouth and telling people, and exercising multiple options that have nothing to do with increasing the quality of your life, the quality of the income that's coming in, and the quantity of the income that's coming in. It does absolutely nothing. So what you need to do, on a piece of paper, on a notepad, you just write down your habits, the habits that you will maintain, that you will keep, regardless whether you have $0, $1 million, $10 million, whatever that number is. And as you make more money, you increase the quality of those habits. As a reference point, right now, I am in Baku, Azerbaijan. This is my backdrop right here. Okay, there's these 3 buildings here. It's called the Flame Tower. It's like one of the landmarks in Baku in Azerbaijan. I like to travel. So when I make more money, this is my mindset before, I will continue to travel the same way that I was traveling, but I'll travel more comfortably. Instead of economy, I'll fly business. Instead of staying in a 3-star hotel or an Airbnb, I'm going to stay in a 5-star hotel. Right now, I'm in Marriott, for example. So my habits haven't changed, What has changed is the quality of the habit. The quality of the habit changed. If I get an apartment, instead of getting a studio and renting very cheaply every month, I will maybe rent long term and I'll get a much nicer apartment. So I have a nicer environment. So the quality of my habits have gone up. I didn't exercise all the different options. I didn't go stupid. I didn't tell myself, you know what, I need 10 cars, fly private jet, go into hedonism, any of this nonsense. I decided focus on work, stay focused on work, increase the quality of what I put out, increase the quality of my life, solve everyone's problems, but without telling them how much money I'm making. And sometimes I solve their problems secretly. So they're unaware. Maybe I'll put in some money for a hospital bill and it's taken care of. And they're unaware who is taken care of by. So I'm very subtle. And you have to be subtle. Because when you're not, what happens is you invite chaos. You invite chaos when you're loud. You never want to invite chaos, because what will happen then is if you invite chaos by not following those two things, number one being the less people that know how much money you have, the better. And number two being don't exercise ridiculous options. If you start doing the opposite of my advice, you will invite chaos. What will happen, and I can almost guarantee this, while your income has gone up, your bank balance has gone up, but your quality of life has gone down. Your peace of mind has gone down. And the reason I'm telling you this again is because a lot of you are earning great money in Cryptonaire Network already. It's my duty to share with you not what would happen if you screw up, but what will happen if and when you are doing incredibly well with us. These two things, there is no way around it. It's absolutely vital. Otherwise, the chaos can destroy you. And I have seen it personally destroy so many people that were bright, smart, made great money, all of a sudden need money for food, need money for rent, to have a roof over their head, but they were making millions of dollars. There's a guy who made about $8 million in crypto, and he did leverage trading, for example. And with his leverage trading, he woke up. So he slept with $8 million and he woke up with zero. It was stupid. Why would someone do that? Has $8 million, has peace of mind, but he did two things very bad. Told everyone, and then he also exercised options. That's silly. Now the exchange he traded on slept, woke up the next day $8 million richer. So there will be people out there, literally it is their business to take advantage of first-time money. I was first-time money. Some of you are first-time money right now, coming from going into a decent sum of income. And there literally are businesses out there ready to take your money, to take advantage of people who wish to be loud and people who invite chaos. They'll stroke your ego. A quick example would be a lot of these designer brands, Gucci and Prada and Louis Vuitton and whatever else, Hermes or whatever you call it. Literally, these brands are not for wealthy people. It's for poor people who ran into money, who want to be loud and say, hey, look at me, I have money. So there are literal companies, and I think that's one of the most valuable companies in the world now. So you've got to be very careful about those two things. Otherwise, what will happen is you entered Cryptonaire Network with relatively little money. You came out of it with a lot more money, a lot more income, a much higher crypto balance, but you have a poorer quality life. And I would regret that from the bottom of my heart that you got involved in Cryptonaire Network, because I want your quality of life to go up. And there are instances where I have provided this advice to people who were making money for the first time. They didn't take that advice, and they came back to me and they said, Rahman, you are absolutely right. And I've said, I told you so way more often than I need to. So this is something to be extremely cautious of when it comes to making money. Do you guys understand the importance of what I just shared with you right now? And let me tell you also, nothing's more uncomfortable than having money, being used to all of the comforts, not following up on those two pieces of advice that I gave you. Prescriptions, they're not even advice. It is a prescription for keeping money and keeping peace of mind. And then now all of a sudden you have to live way below the standards that you were previously used to. Oh, nothing is more painful than that. And most people don't bounce back from it. So you've got to be extremely cautious about it. Caroline said, yes, Rahman makes complete sense. Batusta said yes. Russ said yes. Freddie said yes. All clear. Marjan said yes, absolutely. Petra said yes. Beatrice said yes. Good. So that's what you need to be careful about. The good news, the fact that I'm telling you this shows you my confidence in MintHub. It shows you my confidence in Cryptonaire Network and my confidence in you getting the results that you deserve. So a lot of you have been getting great results, have been receiving big paydays, big pay weeks, big pay months inside of Cryptonaire Network. So major congratulations to you there. And it did scare me. I was looking at the numbers and I said to myself, I have to discuss this on the next Zoom session, because some of you without this advice will end up opening your mouth a little bit. Maybe you'll take some people out to lunch and you'll say, hey, you know what? I got the bill. Don't worry, I'm doing all right. And then they start asking questions. What are you doing? How are you doing so well? What's going on in your life? And then you discuss more. And then it feeds your ego a little bit. And then all of a sudden, a few days go by and they start telling you their problems. It's a pattern I have seen over and over again. So you've got to be cautious about that. It's why I like to be alone for the most. I like to be alone most of the time, unless I'm talking with people that are on a kind of similar level or a level above financially than I am, a level above in the way that they set things up. Because I don't want people coming to me and saying, hey, I've got this problem and that problem. Some of the Cryptonaire Network members have said that to me. I've paid off some of your bills in silence. Right? I've paid off some hospital bills. Someone was struggling to eat. I gave you some money for it. So I do read the messages. I do help out here and there. But listen, you've got the Cryptonaire Network system. You shouldn't be in that position. You should be in a position where you're making great money and everything is set up for you. And that's why I needed to give this warning. This is especially to people, some of you that are on here right now on this Zoom session, especially for some of you here making great money and at the same time set to make some incredible returns in MintHub. Charlia said, I want to help people. How do I do it covert? You can lie. You can basically listen to someone's problem and then say, hey, well, I know this charity that could basically, that takes care of things like this. I'm going to go have a conversation with them and try to get you this money or try to get this problem solved for you. And then you can return back and say, great news, they're here to help. And here you go. This is not me. Hope everything works out for you. So you can basically, sometimes a lie is good. Sometimes, if it's for a good reason. So I'm going to check some of these messages over here. These 2 tips are literally what I needed to discuss with you. It doesn't extend beyond that. I'm just going to, I was giving it some thought. Basically staying silent about how much money you're making and not exercising a million different options. These 2 things are important. If I think about it deeply, there is nothing else on top of that when it comes to having peace of mind and maintaining the money you're making and improving and increasing the money you're making. It's just those 2 tips. Now, if there are any questions, okay, Hassan said, great thoughts. We will consider it. Any update for the launching? MintHub continues to go up in prices, very close to the launch. And it could be anytime this month, actually. Segun said, what is the minimum amount? What is the minimum amount I can add to what I have already in my MintHub before going public? It's up to you. Add in as much as you want. And the more you add in, when things go up, it would mean that you end up making more money. So that is all entirely up to you. So now I'm just reading through some of the comments. Freddie asked a great question. There comes the question how to invest and or store your money safely. Keep it in crypto. Keep it in crypto. When it comes to a large amount of crypto, there are countries out there where you can actually buy physical real estate with crypto. Many countries like that. That would be a great investment also. So it really depends on how much money you're talking about, how much you're willing to invest into physical assets, and the timing for that isn't now. So Freddie, this is information I would give to accelerator members based on the results they're making when I personally exit a large portion of crypto. And I'm going to exit a large portion of crypto after this next big pump. After this next big pump, I will exit a large portion of crypto into physical assets. Sagan asked a great question. After the launch of MintHub, are you introducing another token and when? I'm still researching that. It's very difficult to beat MintHub. I'll be honest with you. I've been doing a lot of research, a lot of headache, traveling around, talking to teams, figuring out who would work well with Cryptonaire Network and if they're doing something viable. And I'm looking around. So Yes, there will be. I'm still doing my research. I've narrowed it down to a few, but it's still not something I resonate with, I should say. Some of them are great teams, but some things are off. So I'm actually figuring it out right now. Now, investment strategies I don't wish to give. Beatrice asked, what about investing in IPO and royalties and things like this? I can only tell you things based on my personal experience. I can't tell you things based on ifs and maybes. So I'm very cautious about the information that I give, which is the reason why I'm only giving you two tips when it comes to preserving and growing your wealth. And those two tips, to say it again, is zip it. And number two, do not exercise a bunch of different options. Because you can wake up one day and say, well, I'm going to travel to Azerbaijan. So I did that. But I still go to the gym. First thing I ask when I go to the hotel is, what time does the gym open? What time does the gym close? I still eat relatively the same kind of food. So I keep healthy and I don't have any processed food. And I can work from the laptop and on the phone and take care of Cryptonaire Network. So my habits don't change when I travel. Then also I fly business, so I'm comfortable. So I can get some work done in the lounge. I can get some good sleep if I need to on the plane. And then when I land, I'm comfortable, I'm fresh, skip the queue, right to the hotel, right to work. So right now, for example, I'm in Baku, Azerbaijan. I traveled in just a few days ago, didn't miss the Zoom, no jet lag, everything is nice. Hassan said, would you advise to invest in Solara as well? Not now. And this was a private buy order that I gave to accelerator members. So I wouldn't put more money into that now. MintHub is where it's at. As a matter of fact, however, I am arranging a sponsorship deal with them. So where I could basically just grab that audience and put them into Cryptonaire Network. They got a great audience, but they didn't do well when they launched. The launch kind of failed because the Solana network went down as soon as they were launching, which was absolutely crazy. Like the whole Solana network went down on the day of their launch, and it affected them in a very big way. But then they've got this big audience, which they're not really utilizing. And so I'm going to run some sponsored emails with them. Hopefully, I'll run some sponsored emails with them. Now, that's all for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the recording, have a chat, a conversation with you guys. Before I do that, I'm just going to check for any comments. Caroline said, great advice. I hear of so many lottery winners who go broke and become suicidal. I never want that. The reason these lottery winners are like this is because of those two reasons. Is that they opened their mouth, everybody knows how much money they have, then everyone came to them and dumped all of their problems at them all at the same time, and they're not used to that. They're not used to any sense of responsibility because maybe they were working a 9-to-5 job, but they were not managing so many people. And because they weren't used to managing so many people, so many people whispering at them and having these conversations with them, they couldn't manage that. It overwhelmed them. Then they had all of these choices they never had before, and they had it this fast. And now they're spending away like crazy. Then there's the leeches and the predators that are after that first time money that will try to pull them in all these different directions. Hey, you should do this with your money. Hey, you should do that. You should purchase this. This is a great investment. And so all of this happens to them all at the same time. But if they kept quiet, that wouldn't have happened. And then if they sat down, and it literally takes one day maximum, one day of peace is all it takes for you to sit down, notepad and pen, and say to yourself, when I, don't say if, don't even say when, say to yourself, I have $1 million in crypto. How do I live? What do I do? What do I avoid? How does my future look? And you sit down and you ask yourself this in peace. Now, if you're overworking and you're working 6 days a week instead of 5, you still got 1 day a week. Just be selfish for 1 day and sit down and note everything down. And if lottery winners did that, they wouldn't have that issue. But they're not used to the money. Now, coming from someone who's used to the money, I'm giving you this advice so you don't have to face it yourself. It's very difficult to build momentum again once you've destroyed that momentum by exercising a million different options, going on holiday everywhere, doing this whole world tour, going into buying lots of different things for no reason, relaxing too much, whatever the case is, it will end up ruining your momentum, and it will end up later destroying your life, worse off than when you had money. So some people just shouldn't have money. But I don't want you to be like that. So I want to share with you my personal stories and the personal stories of everyone around me. First time money usually comes with a lot of baggage if you don't follow the advice that I give you. Chalaya said, I'm grateful for what you are doing. Deeply appreciate bringing us all this wisdom. You are most welcome. I have to. I don't want to see anyone here worse off because of me. All right. I think that is it for now. Thank you very much, guys. Hassan said one last thing here. Brother Rahman, what is the average number of tokens purchased for a family of 4 people can live normally? So you're basically saying, how much money should I spend on MintHub for a family of 4 to live normally? Everyone has a different definition of normal. And so I don't know what your definition of normal is. But I would say my definition of normal would be that you can live in maybe a 4-bedroom house. You can pay all your bills and you can pay emergency bills. And you have more money left over each month than you started with. In your case, and in everybody else's case, the more the better. The more tokens you have, the better. And there is no downside after a certain amount. So if you've got $100,000 in tokens, that's great. If you have $200,000 in tokens, that's double as great. So I can't give you the exact figure. And I can't give you the exact figure if you read the PDF, because the passive income that's generated later with MintHub is something that can continuously increase. I don't know what the number will be for that because it's based on real revenue and it's based on the audience size, and it's based on people purchasing their traffic. So it should continue to go up. I don't know how high it will go, but it's very, very, very good stuff. So the more, the better is what I would always say. One person sent a direct message. So I believe she wants to keep it private, which is great. Brilliant advice. Crazy to think I may be coming into money. I'm definitely taking this advice. Thank you. You are most welcome. Mary said, what's the utility in MintHub token? It's all written on the PDF. If you log into Cryptonaire Network, into your account, into your dashboard, go to MintHub and read the PDF document. All of the information is there. It's the PDF basically describes it all. All right. That being said, I'm going to cut off the recording. I might stay on with you guys and chit chat, but we're going to keep it short and clean. So I'll see you guys. For those of you that are not on live, I'll see you live on the next Zoom session. Right now, I'm going to discuss how Azerbaijan is and a little bit more information about other things. Make sure you're always on live, guys.